In the heart of Madrid stands one of the most famous stadiums in football. But Real Madrid didn't spend years transforming the Santiago Bernabéu simply to create a better place to watch football. They had a much bigger idea. What if a stadium didn't need a football match to make money? What if the pitch could disappear, the building could transform, and tens of thousands of people could walk through its doors all year round? Real Madrid wasn't just rebuilding the Bernabéu. They were attempting to build one of the most powerful money machines in world football. For decades, the Bernabéu was already one of football's most valuable stages. But there was a limitation. Like almost every football stadium in the world, its biggest commercial moments were built around matchday. Real Madrid wanted to change that. The vision was to create a stadium capable of generating business far beyond 90 minutes of football. A destination for entertainment, hospitality, tourism and premium experiences, right in the center of Madrid. And turning that vision into reality would require one of the most ambitious stadium transformations football had ever seen. At the center of that ambition was Real Madrid president Florentino Pérez. Pérez had already helped transform Real Madrid into a global commercial powerhouse. But his vision for the Bernabéu went beyond adding more seats or giving an aging stadium a modern facelift. He wanted to rethink what a football stadium could actually be. A venue capable of hosting elite football one night, major entertainment the next, while attracting visitors and generating revenue throughout the year. It was an enormous vision. And making it possible meant rebuilding the Bernabéu while Real Madrid continued to operate around it. Turning that vision into reality meant effectively rebuilding the Bernabéu around itself. Construction began in 2019, and what followed was an extraordinary engineering challenge. Huge sections of the stadium were transformed. New structures rose around the existing bowl. A roof, a completely new exterior and major new commercial spaces all formed part of the plan. And then came an unexpected opportunity. When the pandemic forced matches behind closed doors, Real Madrid temporarily moved games away from the Bernabéu. For the construction teams, it meant something incredibly valuable: time. Work could accelerate on a project that was about to change not only how the Bernabéu looked, but what the stadium was capable of doing. The transformation was impossible to miss. The familiar concrete exterior of the Bernabéu began disappearing behind a sweeping new metallic facade. But Real Madrid wasn't spending this kind of money simply to make the stadium look futuristic. Behind the new exterior was an entirely different kind of venue. More hospitality, more commercial space, new technology, and crucially, a stadium designed to change depending on what was happening inside it. Because the most important part of Pérez's plan wasn't what people could see from the streets of Madrid. It was what Real Madrid had engineered underneath the pitch. And this is where the new Bernabéu becomes extraordinary. Real Madrid engineered the playing surface so the pitch could be divided into sections and removed from the stadium floor. Instead of leaving one of the world's most valuable venues permanently dedicated to football, the grass could effectively disappear. That changes the economics of the building. Without the pitch occupying the stadium floor, the Bernabéu can be reconfigured for concerts and other major events, creating opportunities to generate revenue on nights when Real Madrid aren't playing. But moving the pitch was only half the challenge. Because once you've removed one of the most valuable playing surfaces in football, you still have to keep it alive. Once the pitch is out of the way, the Bernabéu becomes something completely different. A football stadium can suddenly become a concert arena. Tens of thousands of people can fill the same building on a night when Real Madrid aren't even playing. And that matters because every additional event creates another opportunity for ticket sales, hospitality, food, premium seating and commercial activity. The Bernabéu is no longer designed around one question: when is the next match? The new question is, how many different ways can this building generate revenue? And that flexibility is exactly what Real Madrid were trying to unlock. The Bernabéu could now host massive entertainment events at a scale few venues in Europe could match. One night, Champions League football. Another night, a global concert. Same building, different audience, different revenue stream. That is the business logic behind the transformation. But the real money isn't only in filling the seats. It's in increasing what every visitor is worth. Premium lounges, private hospitality, fine dining and corporate experiences turn a football ticket into something much bigger. For Real Madrid, the Bernabéu isn't simply a place where fans watch 90 minutes of football. It's premium real estate, and every square meter is an opportunity to generate revenue. And this is where the Bernabeu becomes more than a stadium. Real Madrid didn't spend billions simply to create a better place to watch football. They were building an asset designed to generate money throughout the year. Match days, concerts, hospitality, events, tourism, retail. Instead of relying on roughly 30 major home games a season, the ambition was to make the Bernabeu commercially active almost every day. Because the most valuable stadium isn't necessarily the biggest. It's the one that never stops working. And even when nothing is happening on the pitch, the Bernabeu can still make money. For millions of football fans, Real Madrid's history is an attraction in itself. The museum and stadium tour turn trophies, dressing rooms and decades of football history into an experience people will travel across the world to see. That means visitors buying tickets on ordinary weekdays. And once they're inside, there are more opportunities to spend. Real Madrid isn't just selling football. It's selling access to the story of Real Madrid. And the experience goes deeper than simply looking at trophies. The Bernabeu tour gives supporters access to spaces that were once completely out of reach. The dressing room, the tunnel, the pitch. The place is normally reserved for the biggest names in football. And that access has value. Because when you have one of the most recognized sporting brands on earth, even walking through its home becomes something people are willing to pay for. At the Bernabeu, almost every part of the building can become part of the business. And behind all of this sits one of the most powerful brands in world sport. Every match, every press conference and every major event puts Real Madrid in front of a global audience. That attention is incredibly valuable. Sponsors aren't simply paying for a logo beside a football pitch. They're paying for access to hundreds of millions of supporters, global media coverage, and an association with the Real Madrid name. The Bernabeu gives that brand a stage. And the bigger the stage becomes, the more valuable the brand becomes with it. And on match day, all of those ideas come together. A fan might buy a seat, but a premium customer can buy an entire experience: hospitality, food, private spaces and some of the best views in football. For Real Madrid, that changes the economics of the stadium. The goal isn't simply to fit more people inside. It's to make every visit more valuable. And when you multiply that across thousands of supporters, dozens of matches and events throughout the year, you begin to understand why Real Madrid were willing to invest so heavily in the Bernabeu. The new Bernabeu isn't simply a renovation. It's Real Madrid preparing for what football is becoming. A stadium that can generate revenue on match days, on non-match days, and potentially almost every day of the year. Florentino Pérez didn't just rebuild the home of Real Madrid. He transformed one of football's most famous stadiums into a global entertainment business. And perhaps that's the real story of the Bernabeu. The future of the world's biggest football clubs won't only be decided on the pitch. It will be decided by what they build around it. If you love the business behind football, subscribe. The next story begins soon.